Formula grants are a type of funding that is awarded based on a set formula rather than through a competitive process. These grants are typically given out to state and local governments, and they're often used to fund things like transportation and public safety. One of the main benefits of formula grants is that they provide a predictable and stable source of funding for certain programs or activities. Because the funds are distributed based on a formula established by law, state and local governments know exactly how much funding they can expect to receive each year. This allows them to plan and budget for these programs, which can be especially helpful for recurring projects like public transportation or school lunch programs. Another benefit of formula grants is that they often require less administration and paperwork because qualification is dependent on the funding formula rather than on a lengthy application. Because grant amounts are established by formula, state and local governments are given a set dollar amount regardless of whether it is sufficient for their programming needs. This may mean that formula grant recipients have to look for additional sources of funding to finance shortfalls. Additionally, formula funding is earmarked for very specific purposes, regardless of the present needs of the recipients. So, while these funds are guaranteed, recipients may not be able to use them for funding programs that meet their most pressing needs. One of the most common examples of formula grants is the Federal Aid Highway Program, which provides funding for the construction and maintenance of highways, bridges, and other transportation infrastructure. These funds are distributed to states based on a formula that weighs factors such as population, vehicle miles traveled, and the condition of the state's existing transportation infrastructure. Overall, formula grants can be a great revenue source for state and local governments, as they provide a stable and predictable source of funding for certain programs and services. However, it's important to keep in mind that these grants also have some limitations and may not always provide enough funding to fully support all programs. As with any funding source, it's important for states and local governments to carefully consider the pros and cons of formula grants before deciding to apply.